Wintergreen Fire and Rescue has been busy saving hikers from the Appalachian Trail. They had 15 calls on Saturday, 2 of those taxing trail rescues. On average, Ryan Farrow says a trail rescue call can take 6 hours and take 10 or more first responders out of rotation.
It's a routine the owner of Alexia's Closet knows all too well. Spray the walls, bleach the floors, and dry the building. This is the 3rd time this has happened this year. Town manager Tom Robb says the town had to close the Riverdale area about 11 times in the past 3 years because of flooding.
So what should you look out for? In letters or emails, there are a few key signs. First, incorrect spelling or poor grammar, that should be a key giveaway. Second, messages with any sort of urgent action should always be suspicious. And finally, a text or phone call may seem legitimate, but companies like Danville Utilities will not request payment by text or phone. This is what the Riverwalk Trail looked like nearly 2 years ago. And this is what it looks like today. This brand new $500,000 bridge was recently installed following Tropical Storm Michael. And that's not the only change you'll notice.
Once again, a reminder, we are practicing social distancing.
Sports have been on lockdown for months, but now ball players can start getting back in the swing of things. Bank of the James Stadium is opening its gates this weekend for a high school travel ball tournament. The Hillcats staff wants to make sure everyone stays safe when they come out. There's hand sanitizer at every corner, social distancing spots in line, and rows blocked off. The stands would normally look like this, but for right now, they'll be like this.
The sun's power is keeping the lights on along the south side. 2 new solar power farms are now serving some Danville utility customers. ABC 13's Kristen Moran toured the site in Pittsylvania County to see what it means for you.
The 25,000 panels on this site now powers a little more than 3,000 households in the Dry Fork area. Covering 100 acres of land, the 2 farms produce 10 megawatts of energy. The city began investing in solar farms in 2018 with the first farm built in Ringgold. Since power sourced through transmission grids can be a bit costly, Danville City Manager Ken Larking says this will actually save money on both ends.
In a time where even just the basic task of leaving your home could make you susceptible to the coronavirus, drone technology is a solution in one local community.
ABC 13's Maggie Marshall shows us the free service that some can use.
Here in Christiansburg, drones are helping to solve some of the daily challenges during the pandemic, from helping to deliver over-the-counter medication to food to even toilet paper right to people's backyards.
As cases of COVID-19 increase nationwide, Dr. Kavita Tripathi with Sova Health warns against big Thanksgiving gatherings.
Doctors say having a pre-plan for Thanksgiving is important this year more than ever, and that also means where you get your groceries. They suggest buying them online, going through and adding things to your cart instead of going into a store. Once you actually have your groceries, Dr. Tripathi says only one person should be preparing the Thanksgiving meal. She says that person needs to wash their hands, put on gloves, and don't forget your mask to prevent the spread of germs in your home. Doctors recommend enjoying your Thanksgiving meal outdoors, but if you don't have an outdoor space like this, experts recommend sitting at least 6 feet apart inside. Despite all of these precautions, doctors still say the safest way to get together is virtually, connecting with each other from a safe distance.
193 Lincoln vehicle stop.
This driver going 15 over the speed limit.
The reason why I stopped you is you're going 51 and a 35.
Lynchburg police say speeds like this and even higher are becoming too common along Wards Ferry Road.
They were about 60 miles an hour when they first came around the curve,
leading to accidents and injuries, most recently this crash in May.
The head-on collision we had was right up here where these 2 guardrails break.
He says these twists and turns make speeding all the more dangerous.
Hills, curves, hilltops, a lot of foliage. It is a concern because you don't have as much visibility.
So he and his fellow officers will be out patrolling, pulling speeders over and writing tickets to keep the flow of traffic steady and the drivers safe.
So hopefully we can get people to slow down a little bit as we sit here.
In Lynchburg, Hannah McCumsey, ABC 13 News.
Schedule an appointment.
Chris Kraft, a bus driver in Roanoke, says he was lucky to snag a DMV appointment earlier than 3 months out.
You got to wait 3 months to get an appointment?
These days, DMV locations in our area look a little less like this and a lot more like this. To get a better idea of what's going on, I tried to get an appointment myself. At first, I tried over the phone, but I gave up after 15 minutes. So I switched to online to get an in-person appointment at the Lynchburg, Danville, or Roanoke DMV location.
Select, make an appointment.
Right now in Lynchburg, the earliest appointment you can get for an original driver's license is January 12th. In Roanoke, the earliest appointment is also January 12th. And in Danville, you can't get an appointment until December 22nd. I did notice that some appointments open up periodically throughout the day as people cancel. I was even able to find one same-day appointment in Lynchburg, but it was gone within a few minutes. I reached out to the DMV to get answers on why the ability to get an appointment has not improved since we last investigated this issue over the summer. Back then, the wait time was also about 2 to 3 months. I wanted to know why.
In 1975, Earl Inge shot and killed Clifford Smith through the window of his Lynchburg home. For the last 45 years, Shane Smith has fought to keep the man who killed his father behind bars serving his life sentence. Once again this month, Inge was up for parole.
Shane, when you got word that Earl Inge was going to remain behind bars, that he was denied parole, what sort of relief did you feel?
Well, I mean, it's always a relief.
But a big relief this year in particular. The Smiths say a series of problems with the parole board shook their confidence in justice. It started in late April when Inge was suddenly up for geriatric parole. However, the Smiths had a letter promising Inge would not be up for geriatric parole until February 2021. Their parole board had no record of the letter. That's when ABC 13 first told you about their story.
A yes or no question facing all Virginia voters on the November ballot. Amendment 1 focuses on redistricting reform. Virginia's Constitution says the General Assembly and Governor are responsible for drawing the election districts for the U.S. House of Representatives, State Senate, and the House of Delegates. This process happens once every 10 years after census data becomes available. That means lawmakers have sole discretion when deciding who shows up on your Virginia ballot. These are some of the districts today, but they haven't always looked this way. When lawmakers redraw the lines, the districts change. The process allows lawmakers to gerrymander or pick and choose the areas they want to represent. It can also give them an advantage when it's time to run for re-election. Amendment 1 is an attempt to change things. If approved, it would create a 16-person panel, 8 legislators and 8 citizens, equally split between Democrats and Republicans. That group of people would then draw the new maps. ABC 13 polled 8 local lawmakers about the proposal, 4 Democrats and 4 Republicans. 2 Democrats and all 4 of the Republicans told me they support the amendment. One Democratic lawmaker I spoke to is opposed, and Democratic Senator Creed Deeds didn't reveal how he'd vote. He says this amendment is a step in the right direction, but he doesn't believe it goes far enough to stop gerrymandering altogether.